Le pones ahí. Muy bien. Buenas tardes.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you very much for attending this speech. And thank you very much for your interest. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Fabian Blanco, CEO of Telefónica Security Engineer. It's a company of the Telefónica Group specialized in technological security. And today we're going to talk about drones and drones in the security field. So what we are happening today, a few years ago, seemed science fiction. And today it is already a reality. The future is here. And we in Telefónica and in our company, we've been working in this field. We have analyzed, we have researched and studied and made prospects of the situation of this field. And we have analyzed different technologies and different partners, and we can say that today we have the best solution and the best value proposal for the market in drones, in security. And this proposal is based in 4 main axes. First of all, we have the best technology, and this is something that is fundamental, something that our R&D, the team, has worked a lot. And the second aspect is that we have the best partners, and also at international level. And the third aspect is that we have a wonderful team, very solvent, with a lot of experience, and they can be in the avant-garde of the technology. And then we are Telefónica, and this means that we are an important group, and from the best connectivity, and we have all the developments with edge computing, everything related to cybersecurity, which is very relevant, and all the different solutions in cloud. And we have a wide range of consulting solutions, and we are very updated vis-a-vis everything what's happening in the regulation, in the regulatory framework, and also everything related to the platforms and the developments of the platforms. And it is a fully integrated operation. And the future is here with us already, and we, as Telefónica, we are in a very important position in order to capitalize these solutions and for the protection of critical infrastructures, of assets, and of people. And here we have Miguel Álvaro, our expert in drones, and he's going to explain to us the development of this speech. So thank you very much. Thank you, Fabian. So we are going to talk about drones today, and first of all, we have a video about the future of drones, and then we'll talk about the videos, and we'll see the technologies and where the future is taking us, and what we're going to do.
Vale, aquí hemos resumido.
So here we have summarized the most important aspects of the video. So in artificial intelligence and video analytics based on 4 technologies: the artificial intelligence, video analytic, and then the beehives of drones. So it's not just one drone, it's a beehive, it's a group of drones with communication between them, remotely controlled and very small, that allow us to make operations, but it is more difficult to detect them. And we are going to talk about the platforms that control the flight and then the detection. We are a security company, and we focus on these 2 aspects. So when we talk about artificial intelligence and so on, and I've given some speeches already, and the most recurrent question I'm asked is, you think that robots are going to control the world? So artificial intelligence, everybody talked about this in the beginning, but it was not powerful. And the robot can be as intelligent as the person that programs it. So these video analytics allow us to do things that many years ago were completely impossible to do. So everything related to the management of these groups of drones also is something we couldn't do before. And so the technology allows us to do that. But how about the regulation? And there are some changes here in Spain. And until January 2021, we had royal decrees. Now, they were pretty restrictive. So if there was a risk in an operation, it was denied. Doing things with drones, operations with drones, was really very difficult. And then from then on, everything is facilitated with the European regulation. We are going to have many more possibilities to do things, and we'll be able to do them in a very fluid way. We are in a transition period, 2021 to 2023, and we cannot stop all the operations, and we cannot do very dramatic changes. So these operations are already authorized, but there are still some some paperwork that needs to be done. And before we were talking about recreation activities and professional activities, but the future is going to assess the risk of the operation. And this has created three categories: open, specific, and certified. Open would be a small drone with a very low risk of causing an accident or an incident. A drone is a small plane, so to say, that is in the airspace, and it can generate some problems. So we are going to focus on the specific one with a moderate risk. These are unmanned planes, but they are not focused on transporting hazardous materials. Or then another category would be the certified one, in which we still need to take a lot of steps, and I'm talking about air taxis, drones that transport these hazardous materials with a higher risk. And we are going to focus in different pillars here. The control center, where the software platform is deployed, that controls everything. And it is a pilot that is controlling the drone in a visual way and gives us the possibility to control the drone and also some hypes of drones in a remote way. And we can fly it in Madrid when the drone is in Barcelona, and then we need some communications in order to do that. We have the flights that can be seen, and then the flights that cannot be seen, and when we lose communications with them, the drone needs to follow some protocols, and I think that we will be able to do these flights, and we develop an important role in here, and then the roles. We need this technology. And here we have 3 more pillars. The unmanned live platform is one of our technological partners, a very powerful platform, also partner of Wyra. And it allows us to do any type of operations, not only with drones, with any type of robot. And also we have Telefónica with the innovation and the communication, and the management of drones fleet opens a big horizon, a wide horizon, the operations that are behind our radium. So it's not doing it very close to us, and we can do it at 100 kilometers. And then we have SDLE. Here you can have a drone, one of their small drones, and we want to create jobs. All the companies are European companies. 2 of them are Spanish, and so we want to create jobs so that it is a job of high capabilities. So the platform allows us to integrate with other robots, and we are focused on having a solution that takes one step forward, having a better solution. And then, as for the case users that we see, we are a security company, and we are not as focused on delivery. The platform and the drones would allow to do that, but we are looking for this niche in security. So this drone that I mentioned from ASDL company, thank you for letting me borrow it. So it's the first case use. It's the first use case. So this drone is called an indoor drone. It flies in, for example, tunnels or silos in which mines or sewage systems in which there is a risk for a person. And the drone could get inside the silo and determine if there is an hazardous material, gas, or it's going to, or if it's explosive. And it has some sensors and cameras in which you can detect the distances with other drones and with other surfaces. So I detect and I avoid a collision. Then the other cases we are going to focus in are outdoor cases. They are larger drones, and mainly we have 2 types of operation. The AESA operators and non-AESA operators. So private companies or public companies, like for example the firefighters, the police, and we are doing operations of surveillance. For example, when an alarm is triggered, for example, the drone would automatically take off and would supervise this alarm. And when we are talking about non-AESA operators, the drones would be focused on surveying borders, detecting fires or poachers. So we have different uses depending on the different organizations that need them. And then we have the captive drones. It's the same use we can use in the first case, but it has a land station with a cable that feeds communication, and we have a falcon eye. So we lift the drone, it is static, and with this drone we have a top-down image. For example, it's very useful when there is a fire and in cases that we need to control the capacity of a place, and if there is an avalanche, if we can detect it and give an answer in order to solve it as soon as possible. And then I'm going to talk about these anti-drone systems. These drones give us very good solutions, and we can do a lot of things, but it is true that they are dangerous. They are mini planes. They can cause an accident, and the bad guys can use it as a weapon. So here we have the anti-drone systems, because it is a pretty new field and people normally are confused. So in the airspace, we have the air defense, so which is all the atmosphere. Then we have the SHORAD, the protection of the proximal space, and then we have the anti-drone systems. The anti-drone systems detect small drones. So the NATO has done some classifications, and depending on the size, but so we are going to detect a Eurofighter of F-18 drone. There are some drones that have this size, and but we don't realize that they are drones. They are not planes, real planes, right? So we have these air defense systems. This border is not a straight line, so I am responsible of these up to these, and then your drone is in your space, so it's your responsibility. So there are different sizes of drones that can move from CUS to SHORAD and from SHORAD to air defense. So if we focus on these anti-drone systems, that it would be the smaller bubble, we have the biggest detection bubble in which we detect this drone that is intruding, and then we have an identification layer and then a neutralization layer. And the same happens here. There are some technologies that will allow us to do this in the different layers, but I'm going to explain them a little better now. As for the anti-drone technologies, in order to make the detection, we have many more, but I only mentioned a few. Mainly, we have two, radio frequency and radar. And radio frequency are passive systems that detect the emissions of the drone and then do an encoding of these communications. They analyze the length webs, and then we have the radar technology. Most of them are active. They emit a pulsation and they detect when there is a flying object. But we still don't know if it's a drone. So that's why we need identification systems. And here we would have radio frequency systems. We would see this wavelengths, and we will make sure if it's a drone or not. And then the electro-optical systems, cameras with a long range, thermal cameras, in which we are going to check that the pattern of the drone shows us that it is a drone and not a bird, because a radar can detect any type of flying object. And then finally, the neutralization. And we have two types of neutralization, the hard kill and the soft kill. So words speaks for themselves, right? The hard kill would be these weapon stations, motorized tower that shoots the drone. And then we have the networks in which an operator launches a network and catches the drone up to 200 meters reach. In this type of threats, 200 meters would be a few seconds. And then we have some hunter drones, we call them. It is a drone that when it gets to the drone, deploys a network, and they go next to a drone, close to it, and then it gets caught. And also we have the electromagnetic pulses. It can sound like science fiction, but it is a very powerful micro lens and that make the drone to collapse, and then laser of high power of highly powerful. They can inhibit the camera if the drone is using a video analytic, and then high powerful ones, laser, make a hole in the drone and they burn it. And then the soft kill, more in the civil world, because it's not as intense, the damage cost. We have the jamming, the spoofing, and the hacking. The jamming is a technique in which we flood the electromagnetic field and the communication lines that the drones use, and then the communication is not feasible. And then we have the spoofing that generates some false GPS coordinates, and then we can have two types of spoofing attacks. One would be taking the drone to a prohibited flight area. It's going to land, or making it think that it's in a different GPS so that it makes an opposite movement. And then the hacking techniques, in which we put another transmitter between the real one and the drone, and then we are falsifying the waves so that we can control the drone. But it depends on the type of communications, but it can be done. And well, I think that was all. I don't know if you have any other questions. I am here to answer. Yeah. Yes, hello. Good afternoon. Roberto Torres from the security area. So, are you going to do any services with Prosegur company? Because I am so surprised that of this. I think that we have a team that has a lot of experience, and it is a company devoted to security, and we don't need partners in this sense. So maybe we could launch a product here, right? And then you would not be paying the Prosegur fee, right? Well, congratulations for this speech. I don't know if there are any more questions. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I hope it's been very interesting to you. And what, as I said, the future is here with us. And the most important thing, the most positive thing is that Telefónica is ready and can help their clients in public administrations and individual clients in all these solutions and the projects and use cases. And they also require and boost efficiency in many sectors. But it is also going to be very important. And I think that the future is going to use these solutions. Thank you very much, Miguel. Thank you.